So as it says on the stream, this is going to be our last live for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to be going live again for a good while.
And then I'm gonna fly in the
Can you just
sky.
pass me my mouse?
I'm gonna fly in the sky.
So let's see who comes in to join us. Let's have a little good little chit chat before we finish for a month. Scrapping Irish, how are you doing, man? Thank you very much for coming in. Long time no see. I hope you're keeping well.
Come in. Come in. Come in. Come in.
Let's see who else comes in to join us.
Bye.
So,
Hi.
oh, let me put that on silent because it's going to cause us a problem if I don't. There we go, it's on silent now. So let's see, we've got 13 people in the house. Ian Matthews, Nick's allotment diary. Nick, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Absolutely, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6.
Steve, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. I'm just trying to get this up on the big screen, and then I can follow what's going on in the chat.
Steve.
Gary, Teresa, Jim Bob's gardening and farming. Jim Bob, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. It's been a very long time since I've seen you. Merciless Dragon, hello from Texas. We've got people. Where's the White Ninja? He's not here today.
Why?
Leslie Gunn, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. ABC 1, 2, 3. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Oh, you're making a lot of noise today. Come on, there you go.
I love you. I want you.
Why is it the last live? So for some people you might know, others might not know. The month of Ramadan is coming, and so I'm going to be fasting all day, and just after 8 o'clock is when I'm going to be opening my fast. So for the next month or so, I'm not going to be doing any more live streams. So this is going to be the last live for about 4 or 5 weeks before we get back to normal again. And once Ramadan's over, then once fasting's over and Ramadan's over, then I'll be going live again back to my normal schedule. But it's just going to be. I mean, it happens once a year. We break up for a few weeks, but it gives me a chance as well to recoup and get back to normal, and then we'll start again. But yeah, we'll be back. It's not going to be a permanent thing, but it's just going to be a few weeks off. So let's see who else is coming in. Mike's Hobbies. Mike, how are you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're keeping well. Steve, what have you been up to? I've been out in the garden building myself a new potting table. My wife's not gonna like me saying it because I've actually injured my wife. I knocked her with a crowbar by accident. I was breaking a pallet and she was holding the pallet for me, and I swung the crowbar, and it slipped. The crowbar slipped, and I caught her with the crowbar. So I've hurt my wife actually today. So it's a bit of a yeah. It's normally me hurting myself, but today I've done it to someone else, so I feel quite bad about that. Chris from Exploring Nature Together, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Everyone needs a break once in a while. Yeah, it's come at a good time actually because I do need a break. I'm still going to be making videos and stuff, but I'll still be making weekly videos, and I'll try and keep up with that side of things. But just at this time, it's going to be the time when we open our fast for the day, and it's just not going to it's going to be difficult to do it. So Steve Alderson, I'm in the middle of building my new potting shed. Oh, fantastic! Steve, are you in our Facebook group? Because I'd like to see some pictures of that. Because I've got an idea of a potting shed. Once I eventually move the chicken house and build a new chicken coop and take down the old greenhouse and take down the old chicken coop, then I'm gonna be on to building myself a new potting shed or a little man cave or something. So, oh my goodness, will she? She'll be okay. Um, she'll be okay. I mean, I caught her on the head with a crowbar, and it's made her. Well, she was dizzy for a good while. So, it's not. It wasn't a good experience for her. I don't think. So Steve's been planting potatoes and building more of the pergola. I think I saw some pictures that you just put up. Did you just put some pictures up? Is it like an L shape? Because if that's the one, then that looks solid, man. That looks absolutely awesome. Joe Blogs, getting ready to cover my spuds tonight, as it's going to be -5 here in Ireland. Have your potatoes started showing? Um, so ABC, for moringa. What about moringa? I missed the first part of that comment, so if you can say it again, then Moringa is very good to eat for you and your family. That it is. It's just a shame that it doesn't grow so well over here, and I don't know where to get a young plant from to get it growing. I slipped, officer. Honest, Steve. Honestly, she was holding the pallet for me on that side, and she was right in front of me, and I was wedging it with a crowbar on this side, and I pushed it. I gave the crowbar a push, and it slipped from in between the two planks of wood, and it just went flinging forward and caught her right on the top of her head. So it's not, yeah, it's given her a little nasty little cut. It's not too bad, but it's not going to be easy. Um, are you gonna build? Are you gonna film your shed build? Hopefully, mate. Hopefully I'll be building one. Filming it. Sorry. So that might that might have been me. Mike, what might have been you? Sorry, I missed the initial part of that comment. I'm sowing my wildflower area tomorrow. Very excited. Owen Harris, the Welsh gardener. How are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Awesome. How big a wildflower meadow are you making? You can eat all of. Yeah, I would. The thing is, I'd like a moringa plant. I just don't know where to get one from over here. It's a little bit difficult. So who else? Home allotment veggie beds. How are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Lisa Evans, how are you doing? Get a pallet break here, punk. Yeah. Do you know what? See, do you know while we were doing it, I was talking to my wife and I was saying, look, do you know, there's this tool called a pallet breaker. I don't know if it's worth getting. And she was pretty much saying the same thing. Get a pallet breaker, you plonker, because it took me about more than half an hour to break this pallet, and I smashed a couple of boards as well. But yeah, so it wasn't. So I smashed half the wood that I needed to get out of the pallet, and I caused my wife an injury, which does yeah. So I think the next time I do this sort of thing, I'm gonna have to invest in a pallet breaker. You're right, mate, and I am a bit of a plonker with that one. Arguments with cowboys never end well. Yeah, but hopefully I'll have this video edit. After this live, I'll get editing the video and I'll get it uploaded tomorrow. What I've done is I've repurposed an old washing up sink. I've turned it into a potting table, and it's turned out really well. Um, I'm really impressed with how it's turned. It's turned out better than I thought it would. I didn't know if it was going to work. But Mike, you put the L-shaped pergola. Okay, but that looks like a solid piece. It looks beautiful. That. Yeah, I really like that because I want something in the garden. I'm gonna head down to Wilco's. I saw Karen from Rosa's Allotment Adventures put up these little arches from Wilco's, and she's made them into a tunnel. And I looked at those in Wilco's a few weeks ago, and I thought they look a bit flimsy. So she said they're quite solid. So I'm gonna go and grab a couple of those.
Bye.
So there's a quick hello from Dave, and he's gone again. So I'm gonna go and grab a couple of those if I get a chance tomorrow. Jomi wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I got your seeds today. Was it today or yesterday? I got your seeds. You sent me loads of stuff. loads of seeds. I don't. My mum goes, "Where are we going to plant them all?" But there's a couple of nice ones in there. There's some really nice ones, and there's a bit of everything: flowers, beans, melons, cabbages. Yeah, so there's loads of stuff in there. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate it. Patricia, I'm late. Why is this the last live? Um, the month of Ramadan is coming, so it's going to start in the next few days. I think Wednesday is going to start, and it depends on the moon cycle. So whether the new moon's sighted on the Tuesday night or the Monday night depends on when it's going to start, and then we're going to be fasting for the whole of the day, and the time to open our fast is going to be around 8 o'clock. Um, so it's gonna be very difficult to do a live stream at that time. Um, so for the next 4 or 5 weeks ish, maybe about that sort of length of time, I'm not gonna be doing any more live streams. I'm making one around 1 meter square to start off with, and then I'll expand to seed more in the future. Very nice. Nick, have you been ill? You can get moringa trees in the internet shop in the UK. If you can get them in the UK, then I'd definitely be interested in getting one. I'd be interested in seeing a link to that. Steve, behave. Is it a DIY with your family? If no, is it DIY? See, it's normally me getting hurt, right? It's normally you know, bashing with a hammer, and my thumbs are gonna bleed. That's normally the situation. Breaking pallets is like a waste of time, but I love it. Just sucks 3 pallets in 1 pallet worth of wood, but help me make my chicken run. See, this this is what my wife was saying. She was like, if you've got loads of pallets to break, why don't you just get a pallet breaker? And I think that's what I'm gonna do. Well, no, I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go and do that. I just didn't have one. Yeah, I should have got one in advance. Nick's Veggie Patch. I've just found out about your channel and have subscribed. Awesome! Thank you very much for joining us. There's loads of stuff that whatever you're into, especially if you're into growing tropical veg, we do a fair bit of that. Um, yeah, yeah. Thanks very much, Joey. I really appreciate it. Flowers as well. My pergola is just scrap from the orchard that I'm clearing. Okay. Have you? Okay, okay, okay. So I saw Mike's pergola. His looks solid, absolutely solid. Um, so I used a small jimmy wrench and a hammer and works, but I do have big arms. See, Derek, I was using a crowbar and a club hammer, and I had the crowbar wedged in at one side and give it a little thing, a push, and it just slipped out the corner. And there we go. Susie Woozy, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much for coming in. Yeah, yeah, Dean. It's a flying visit. Are you working again tonight? So let's see who else is in. I'm thankful my little guy's a helper, although he makes more work than go. Yeah, see, ZMB Lion. Yeah, that's what the kids do. We were doing we were doing some potting of chilies and stuff, right? So I was potting up chilies, and while I was potting and talking to the camera, Zaki just decided to scoop some compost in the middle of the kitchen and just fling it around the kitchen. So that made it fun. um, so Nick's had his first jab. Fantastic. Good, really good. I'm still waiting on the list for mine. Um, so Misk is saying Ramadan Mubarak, Khair Mubarak. Thank you very much. Just felt rough after my first vaccine. I'm glad you're feeling better. Drop crowbars are supposed to make breaking pallets easy, but not when you're me. Not when you're me. I think that, you see, everything's easy except when you're me. Um, it felt. See, do you know you guys are saying that you felt bad after your jabs? See, my wife had her AstraZeneca vaccines. She's had two, and she felt fine. Yeah, she a little bit of pain in the arm, but just like a normal injection, no problem. My mum had her first Pfizer vaccine, no problem at all. She had a second vaccine, and then she got really ill after that. There was one night where she was feeling really rough, and that gave me a bit of a panic. But a couple of days later, she felt like she had a bit of a cold and shivers and stuff. But she's past that now. Um, but it's strange how the first one didn't cause her any issues and the second one caused her that bit of a reaction. Um, yeah, Steve. Yeah, I feel proper bad. I feel absolutely. I feel terrible because she she won't kick up a fuss about a lot of stuff, but she was dizzy. I feel terrible about it. Um, so wrecking ball. See, drop. I mean, it is a wrecking bar. It's what, about 2.5 foot long. That's the thing that I had. So it was. I mean, it's a roughneck wrecking bar. I just call it a crowbar because it's just a bigger one of them. So Nur Ali wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Derek Barker is something to practice. I did about 30 for discovery for raised beds a couple of years ago. See, I've got what, two, four. I've got about 6 pallets in the garden that I need to break and make some beds out of. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do a small garden based on concrete, and what I want to do is I want to basically go back to the way we used to garden when we didn't have a garden, and just do a few planted gardens and show how you can grow potted vegetables, grow loads of vegetables in pots, even though you might not have a lot of space. So I've got a few pallets that I've collected, and I need to break those. So I think I might invest in one of these pallet breakers. Hajira Begum, walaikum assalam. Baltic homesteaders, Gary, we had our first vax this week. I was fine, but wife was bad for a day. Okay. See, it's strange how different people are reacting to it. It is quite strange with that. Um, Sophia, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thanks very much for coming in. I don't know what a pry bar is, Grop. Um, so your wife had the vaccine even though you all had it. I'm confused on how that works. Chris, I don't know how it works either. See, I'm technically at risk. My wife's perfectly healthy. Um, my mum falls in the old age group, so she gets it, no problem. But because of the steroid injections that I have in my spine, apparently I'm at risk. I'm at more risk, and I should have been on the list. But when I phoned my GP up, they said we'll get to you when we get to you. But for some reason, they've just called my wife up. They sent her a message saying, right, go and book your jab, and you're getting in. So I don't know how it works, but she's had both, and she had both of hers within a month. So she had a first one and a second one within the space of a month. My mum had her first one in January, and then she had a second one in April. So she had to wait loads of time. But my wife, just for some reason, they just called her in and gave her the injection. um, if you've got a scaffold pole, that works as long as it's long enough and you can get a good leverage on it. See, I don't have a scaffold pole. I've seen some people make pallet breakers out of scaffold poles as well. Nur Ali getting ready for Ramadan. Yeah, same here. So this is why this is going to be the last live. So we're gonna break up after tonight, and then we'll start again in probably mid-May, end of May. Maybe the last week of May will be the last one. Patricia said I'd never have the jab and I'm 66. Are you still catching up on last week's chat? Probably. Oh no. Dan M, how comes it's the last live? Dan, it's just going to be because of Ramadan. Ramadan's happening, and it's going to be time. I'm going to be fasting all day, and it's going to be time to open our fast at this time in the evening. So I can't do both. I'm still disappointed with the weather. I wanted to get the heavy stuff done before Ramadan, so I can enjoy planting and watering. Um, what have you got left to do? What about a reciprocating? So they'll do. How you need a reciprocating saw to break pallets? Um, so how long have you been doing your channel? As I'm new to your channel, Nick's Veggie Patch. I've been on here since November 2018. 18th of November 2018. There's a precise date for you. So yeah, we've been on here for just under 2.5 years. Yeah. But glad you found us. It'll be the month of Ramadan, fasting soon, so 8 something is when we eat. Yeah. Pound for Pound TV, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I need some pallets breaking too. When can I drop them off at yours? Gardening chat or vaccine chat? It's supposed to be. Steve. It's supposed to be a gardening chat, but I don't know. You know me. I start off on one subject, and I don't know how I get from A to point B. I get to A to point B as somehow, but I sort of take the scenic route. Rahman Raja, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. It's liberating, by the way. I saw him and asked him, and he's not available. I plan to do a few more beds. I might just stick the plants in the lawn. And if you're gonna just stick the plants in the lawn, what I'd do, do you know what I'd do? If you can just mulch over a little area, and just dig the hole that you're gonna plant in. See, I did that in one of my hodus last year, one of my gourds. I grew that on the near the chicken hut, and that was just in the lawn. So I just dug a hole out, and I just mulched probably about a foot either side of the hole. So just like a circle, it was like a 2.5 foot circle that I mulched, and it was just the middle hole where I dug that over, and I just put the plant in there and grew it from there. So if that's a little cheat you can do as well. Um, so so cheers, Nick. Just an F1 guy growing some veg. Thank you so much for the info and help. You're very welcome. Planted some peas this morning. A bed of sugar snap and field peas. Then I had a good tidy up around the yard. What are field peas? What's the difference between normal peas and field peas? Because I like sugar snap. Sugar snap are nice. I planted my first set out a few weeks ago. I'm going to plant my second set out. Well, I planted my first set out in the first week of April, and I'm just going to wait for this cold snap to end, and I'm going to plant my second set out. So I've been doing my channel since last year. Really good, but on hold at the moment. Yeah, I've not. It's good to meet. It's good to meet you. It's good for you that you pop in and say hello to us. But how comes you're on hold? Saws through the nails. Okay, saws through the nails. Check the other YouTube. Okay, that's not a bad idea. Baltic Homesteaders. Saw your pictures of peas. Looks good. Will fresh cut grass be okay for mulch? Do you know if you're mulching on top of grass, then unless you're gonna put down like 6 inches of grass, then it's not gonna be good enough. What I'd do is I'd put some cardboard and then put the grass on top of that, so the cardboard will kill your other bits of grass, and then the other grass will break down as the cod, and then just feed the little area around it. So yeah, fresh cut grass will work, but it needs to be nice and thick. Um, don't buy bark. Don't buy bark. If you haven't got it, don't buy it. Just use what you've got. Grass is fine. If you can get a hold of leaves, they're pretty good, but they need to be thick. As a landscaper, I will say that the hardest crater is of the Indian natural stone, three sizes. They're good for making compost bin as they last for a while. Okay, where'd you find them? John Fletcher, I find using a pickaxe very useful. Lay the pallet on the ground and use a bit of 2x4 wood to stop the pallet from breaking by placing the 2x4 under the pickaxe. Giving the give my best regards to your wife. John, that's a good tip, that. Um, so you just put the pickaxe in and just sort of wedge it out. Um, so Rahman Raja, how are you, Mona Sab? Hope you and family are well. Rahman, we're okay, except that I cracked my wife on the head with a crowbar by accident. Guys, it was by accident. So before I get into trouble for anything else, I've been getting a bit of got into a bit of trouble already today. So I don't want to anything else add into it. Um, Shorter but can plant closer to self support. Pods aren't edible. Okay, okay. So are the peas edible though, or is it just the pods that aren't edible? The hardest pallet is the Euro. The blue pallets. I won't try and break a blue pallet. They're absolutely solid. Um, but I don't bring the blue pallets in because what is that blue stuff on the pallets? Is that some kind? Is that a safe treatment that they put on it, or what is that blue stuff? Put my potatoes in no dig beds for the first time. Fingers crossed. What have you used compost to make your no dig beds? Kevin, sorry. Great channel, great tips and advice. Thank you. No, thank you very much for coming in, guys. If you haven't hit that like for me, please hit that like. Let's get the like count up a little bit. We're at 44 people, 24 likes. Just hit that like a little bit. So field peas come in many types. Generally, field peas is something that you grow to feed animals. However, in southern USA, use them for food. Chickpeas, aka black-eyed peas, or purple whole peas, for example. Okay, so field. Do you know, sometimes I see field people talk about field beans, right? And they use them as cover crops. But when I've looked at field beans, what the Americans call field beans, I've looked at the leaves and they look like broad beans to me. So are they the same thing or not? But I've never grown a field bean, so I don't know. I don't know what they're like. Thumbs up or absolutely, guys. If you haven't hit that like, please hit that like. Excellent, thanks. I'm keeping the leaves and grass then. Or if you get hedge trimmings as well. Do you know if you get if you've got a hedge and you trim them, just use the stuff from there. If you can run that over with a lawnmower, then you've got your wood chips and you've got your bark and whatever else you need. Sam's allotment diary. How are you doing? I've seen your drone. Sam's got a new toy. He's playing with his drone. Nice one. So looking forward to your next YouTube video. Just F1 guy. Hopefully it'll be out tomorrow. And this is a nice little potting table. It was an accident, honest. No, honestly, it was. Before I get myself into any more trouble than I'm already in. Um, so the peas are edible, but just the pods aren't. Okay. So, been attempting to fly the drone on the plot today. Did you crash it at all? So Sam's got a nice new drone that he's taking pictures of his garden, and that'll be fun to see his new videos when he starts videoing on with his drone. Blue pallets are rented and shouldn't be taken. And now you tell me, Steve, I've got one as part of my compost bin. So Noor Ali, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Louise May, wa alaikum assalam. Just hit the like. Thank you very much. Hope you're keeping well. Rehna Kausar, best of luck. um, so, t- so field peas, crowder peas, cream peas, along with black-eyed peas, are all part of the larger species of beans commonly known as cow peas or southern peas. See, I hear cowpeas mentioned quite a lot as being used as cover crops. Um, oh, I'd love to you and your family. Happy growing this year. Thank you very much. I hope. What have you got planned for this year, F1 guy? What have you? Are you growing anything new? Organic gardening, North Carolina. How are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Never use blue pallets to grow food as they have a lot of chemical. That's what I thought. I thought that blue stuff was some kind of chemical. Field beans or fava beans referred to as broad beans. Okay. See, I've seen the leaves, right? Because I see a lot of people say yeah, we're growing field beans, and I've seen the leaves, and I know fava beans and broad beans are the same thing. Uh, you don't eat the pod on field beans, just the bean inside. Yeah. So yeah, it sounds very much like broad beans. It's becoming chilly. Yeah, tonight. So last night was really cold. Tonight's going to be cold. Next couple of nights are forecast to be cold, but hopefully by the end of this week, it's going to be starting to. We're going to start getting decent temperatures up again. I think I saw the forecast around the 20th. Nighttime temperature looking at it being about 7-8 degrees. So if we can get consistent nighttime temperatures at 7-8 degrees, hopefully inside a greenhouse we can get 10 degrees. And if we can get that, then some of the more tender plants can start going outside. Things like tomatoes, things like chilies, they can start going outside to hopefully towards the end of the month. But remember, that's a hopefully. It's not just you just go and plonk them outside. Always keep an eye out for that weather and make sure, make sure that it's safe and keep an eye out for any sudden changes because we can still get a sudden change up until for us especially up until the middle of May. Most of my plants are still inside. The only things that are the sorts of things that are outside in my greenhouse are cabbages, onions, a few flowers, some coriander, and those kind of things. But nothing too tender. Um, we get them at the building supply shop like MKM, Travis Perkins. But if you got any of them, see, I need to get my, I need to get a tow bar fitted to my car. My old Volvo had my Volvo had a tow bar. I got myself a trailer, and I was doing manure runs whenever I needed to and stuff like that. Picking up pallets whenever I needed to. But since my Volvo got written off, I've got myself a Nissan, and that doesn't have a tow bar. And I got a quote for a tow bar the other day, 500 quid. They were saying. Do you know? Apparently, it's got to have a removable one because the tow bar blocks the fog light. So, just to have this removable thing, it's £200 extra. I thought, what are you talking about? I've got to be getting a lot of manure to make that worthwhile. Um, so I love to garden. It's my passion. Absolutely. See, everyone in here is passionate about growing. Am I from Pakistan? No, I'm not. Um, I'm in the UK, but my family's from Bangladesh. Uh, is it grow? Is it going to be a washout this year? Got my seedings still indoors. When shall I call it a day and take them outside? Louise, I've still got mine inside, and they're going to be staying inside for at least a couple of weeks longer, sort of towards the end of this month. If it's staying at a consistent temperature, nighttime temperatures above 10 degrees, then I'll move stuff into the greenhouse, and then once I know it's safe and we're past any danger of frost, then I'll move stuff into the garden. Um, So still a couple of weeks away before starting to move stuff into a cold greenhouse. I bought almost everything back inside the house to keep it warm. That's the best bet, absolutely best bet. Um, Ramadan Mubarak, Junaid Zaman, Khair Mubarak. Thank you very much. Hope you're keeping well. Sounds like I'm not the only one going pea mad. See, you sent me that yin yang bean, and I'm looking forward to growing that. We grow those dragon tongue beans, and they're similar. They're not exactly black and white, but they're more purple and white. And I love growing them. And they make really good dried beans as well. Do you know if you dry them and then cook them with fish, or spot on, absolutely spot on. Pallet markings mean they're for common treatment cause that tell what method of treatment the pallet has received. H tree heat treatment, MB. Where does it show that? I'll have to have a look for that. I'll look at these pallets a bit more carefully. Um, yeah, field peas make excellent cover crops. See, I see a lot of that. I see a lot of it used because I always use broad beans as part of my cover crops. Do you know you get broad beans? We used to get broad beans in mixed veg in school for school dinners, and I hated the broad beans. They just taste absolutely minging. Um, and even in the mixed veg packets that you can buy now, the broad beans just taste nasty. So I've grown loads and loads of broad beans since I started gardening, but I've never eaten them because they don't taste nice. And then a couple of years ago, I just thought, all right, come on, we're growing loads of them and we're chopping them down, and sort of by accident, instead of I forgot to chop a few plants down, and they started growing beans, and I thought, okay, what we'll do is we'll let them grow and see what happens. And then my mum cooked them, and then I thought, okay, these aren't so bad after all. And yeah, so I've only been eating broad beans for the last 2 years or so. Um, let's see. Yeah, man comes round our way and takes blue pallets and threatens legal action. So beware. Oh, he's gonna take us to court for a blue pallet. um, I'm not watering my plants for fear. If you're gonna water plants, the way I'm watering my plants at the moment is I'm just waiting for a plant to completely dry out, for the plant pot to completely dry out before I water anything. And then just give it a what the way I'm watering them is I'm just soaking the pot for about a minute, and then taking it out and just letting it dry off. And I like watering in the morning as well. Then it gives the plant a chance to any water on the leaves or any water on the surface of the soil to sort of dry off, and that reduces risks of dampening off. But I've got some quite big tomato plants. They're about a foot tall now. With them, I can be a bit more. I can be a bit more brutal, shall I say? I just dunk them in a bucket of water and that's it. Um, but I'm only watering when the soil's dry, and that means I'm only having to do it once a week or so. Um, so Idaho girl, thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. Will coriander be okay outside? Coriander will be okay outside. If you wanted to just be safe, then you get a plastic bag or a piece of fleece or even a blanket or something, and just cover it over for the night and whip it off again in the morning. I've got meti outside, so fenugreek growing outside, and that's what I've been doing for the last couple of nights. I've got a plastic bag that I just cover it over, put a brick on top, and then in the morning whip the plastic bag off again. All you want, it'll survive the temperatures, but all that you want is you don't want that. You don't want that frost, landing on the leaves, because if that frost lands on the leaves, then it'll burn the leaves. Um, and especially as the sun heats up, that's what burns the leaves, and you don't want that. That's the damage that you don't want. a lot of the frosts now are not that bad. They're not the serious killing type frosts. But it's still something that'll set you back a little bit that you just don't want. I'll be sowing red clover as a summer cover crop plant. Oh, red. So 2 hours ahead here. Need to hit the sack. Gary, you take care, and hopefully we'll see you again once I go live again in a few weeks time. Pallet wood is very poor quality. Blue pallets are rented. Pallets marked with MB should not be used. I'm using spray water at the base of the soil, but keeping a close eye. Bottom water, it'll make bottom water is better for stuff like dampening off. Volvo is the best. John, Volvos are. Do you know what? Since I moved from the Volvo to this Nissan, right? My Volvo was 10 years old. It was an XC90, 10-year-old XC90, and I've got a 3-year-old Nissan X-Trail. I still prefer the 10-year-old Volvo. The Nissan's got all these gadgets and all of these other things in it. It's really high tech and yeah, fantastic. But the Volvo, when you got in that car, it was just like, yes, I'm in something solid now. Even my mum gets into this Nissan and she's like, oh, I miss the old car. When you got into it, you can, she just pointed out that the seats were so nice and big. My mum's tiny, but but even she liked the comfort of the big Volvo. Um, so it's yeah, they're definitely one. Um, anyone growing chokeberries? Wilco's have them with 250. So, but I've not heard of chokeberries before. What new varieties everyone growing this year? So, I've got some what they call edible lupins that I'm growing for the first time. I'm trying some butter beans this year for the first time. John sent me some yin yang beans. I'm trying that for the first time. There's a few more seeds in there that I'm trying for the first time. What else? And then I'm pretty much growing all my standard stuff. I haven't gone for loads and loads of stuff. I've noticed there's a recent Patreon for beans. Yeah, so John, what I did was I just did a quick video on how I use beans around the garden to fix nitrogen to the soil, and I put that on Patreon. So if anyone, I do make videos on Patreon as well. So if anyone does fancy becoming a patron, then if someone can grab a link for that, that'd be really good. If someone can grab a link from our Patreon and put that up, that'd be really good. Derek's saying everything will catch up. I found potato sprouting on the surface, roots growing into ground and green on top today while digging allotment. So what have you done with that? Have you just planted it again? I found, do you know what you're saying there? I found a couple of buckets last week that I found a couple of buckets last week that we had potatoes in that I forgot to harvest and I just completely forgotten about. So I went to harvest them and I thought, all right, let's see what we get. But all the potatoes were sprouting and they were starting to, they're developing shoots, nice set of roots. So all I've done with them is I've used them as seed potatoes. Made my wood chip bed bigger and stuck them all in there. I see Brian's in the chat. I've got the chat on my phone and on the computer, and I know I'm way behind, guys. So I'm really sorry about that. Brian, I hope you're keeping well. I'll hopefully get to your comment sometime today. Do you use permaculture in the garden? Absolutely. I mean, look, most people who have come from overseas, from Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, from Far East, they're all doing permaculture when they're gardening anyway, because they're all using permaculture techniques. Same with people, people coming over from Latin America, South America, native peoples. They're all using permaculture techniques anyway because that's what it is. Steve Alderson, did you finish your mum's wallpaper? Yeah. So last week after the live, I got straight after the live. It took me till about I think 1 o'clock, 1:30, but I got a wallpaper done. I'll put a picture up. Her room's turned out quite nice actually. She came in. She came in. I'd made the room look really nice, right? And she came in and goes, "Oh, there was a tiny little overlap." And she goes, "Oh, there's a mark there." So I had to take that off and get it fixed again, which was fun. Um, so I'm a bit new to your channel, but what a legend you are! So much good advice. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it. See, we do these lives every weekend, and we just have a. Then there's nothing set. I don't generally have a set agenda. What I normally do is I try and bring on a guest whenever I can arrange it, and bring on a guest and interview them. Otherwise, it's it's questions and answers and general chit chat, and it's a good chance for everyone to unwind actually, um, and keep it informal as well. I see people saying bye to Chris. Chris, if you're leaving, I hope you have a good weekend, and if I don't see you soon, um, you take care. Um, so I think Steve's gone as well. So Steve, you take care, mate, and I'll see you soon. Assad wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much for coming in. Um, Brian, I'm just getting to your comments saying I'm miles behind. Yeah, I'm miles behind. I am. Always am. Um, let me see if I can. Let me skip forward a little bit and see what's going on. Steve, if you haven't gone already, you take care and I'll see you soon. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. And yeah, there's a link to my Patreon. So if anyone does want to go and check something out there, or does fancy sponsoring me, that you'd be very more than welcome. My callaloo is going wild, so the house is full of plants, and I'm scared of planting them outside. Um, just wait till the next couple of days are over. Once the frosts are over, you can plant your callaloo outside. If they're growing, they'll be fine. They can take a low temperature. They just can't take a freeze. Henrik, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. So Henrik's in Egypt. How's your little project coming along? If I did cardboard no dig in warm, wet weather, would it break down enough? Yeah, cardboard will break down. Do you know? One of the best things I like about cardboard is as soon as you put the cardboard on the surface of the soil, because of that darkness it creates, worms come up. Worms are just there's loads of worms. You know, when you peel back that cardboard, you'll see so many worms underneath it. So let's see. So my God, my calendar in Germany, and I'm thinking of using them as a feature, so they better hurry up. We planted callaloo we sowed callaloo direct into a seed bed a few days before the cold started in the greenhouse. So they haven't started yet, but they'll be coming up in the next few days. If you look on my community tab, you can see the lettuces that are planted. You know, people were laughing at me when I was saying I'm going to plant loads of stuff in January. The people laughing at me and saying, "What you doing?" But I've got lettuces that, leaves are bigger than my hand that I'm picking right now, and I've got pak choy. If you see the size of this pak choy, it's probably about that big that I picked. So we're picking stuff just because we sowed it in January, and all of that stuff was sown in a cold greenhouse outside. Laura, you take care. Thanks for coming in, and I'll see you soon. Well, I'll see you sometime at the end of May. Just dug out borders on chunks of grass with soil. What should I do with it? With the grass, if you've got grass, if you've got like a patch of grass and you want to compost it, stack them face to face, grass to grass, and just leave them somewhere dark, and they'll break down in no time. and you'll have some all the soil and all the grass. It'll break down and turn into some really nice material. Um, but it'll take about a year or so. Just a boat. No. So Hendrik's got no frost over there. I saw your pictures. Your garden's looking really good. I think your garden's coming on a real treat. Yeah, enjoy lettuce. Never finish one from the shop. We're like that. So you buy lettuce, you buy cucumbers, and then you just never get around to finishing the end of it. Um, so with our lettuce from home, they're picked just before we were going to eat them. So any time before we're going to eat them, then that's it. We'll go and get them. Eye salad in hospital. It was like eating leather. What's an eye salad? I did put chilies direct into the bare sand and cover them with mulch. Now they start. Now they start. Um, how are you working on water? So I don't have a composter. I did exactly what Mottenbai said, and it's dying off slowly but surely. So Sophia, you take care. Ramadan Kareem. May Allah accept it from us all, and hopefully we'll see you again at the end of Ramadan when we're back live again. I lifted the grass and flipped like a pancake down for my flower bed. As long as you've got just normal grass, it's fine. Like the problem I've got is most of my grass is couch grass, and that does cause some issues. And I've got a lot of weeds like dandelions and stuff like that everywhere. Oh, I had a salad. Oh, there goes the neighborhood. There goes my reading as well. Right. Right. We're just past 9 o'clock. I'm gonna call it a day here. It's been a nice chat, and I think it's gonna be about 5 weeks that I'm gonna be away for. But we'll be back. We'll definitely be back once Ramadan's over, and we'll be back live. But I'll keep making videos throughout Ramadan, and I'll keep you updated on my garden and how it's doing. And if there's anything that you want to see a video on, drop me a message either on Facebook or even in the comments. Or if there's something that you want me to do, cover, then let me know. Okay, and I'll try my best to do that. But keep an eye out for this sink table thing tomorrow. I'll get that up. So I'm going to leave it there for this one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.